you know, we'll see.
So do you learn upon that, or is it just you already know all of that stuff and you just kind of?
Oh, I know all that stuff.
Yeah,
and that's just me sitting and talking.
Okay.
If you let me sit and talk about something long enough, I will die. I will not eat. If you go like talk about this, I will sit and talk about that until I starve to death. if you don't say anything and I can't listen to anything, that was all from my head.
So did you make the short film? When was that produced? When did you make that short film?
Over last summer.
Over the last summer, okay. So
yeah.
This is after Chronicle was written and everything, and production and everything like that.
Yeah, and I was also at the time writing Frankenstein, and no, I'd already written Frankenstein. At the time, I was writing like Villains and Me, Him, Her, like 2 other things, and I was just also making Superman, and it was just fun. Like, because Superman, a lot of the people in it are just my friends. Like, we'd go out to a public park, and I'd be like, go, fuck, run, yell! Eldon, punch him in the face, he's Doomsday, run! You know, like, and like people would be seeing us because the goal was to spend almost no money and look like the costumes had almost no effort. Yeah. So we put no effort on the costumes and spent almost no money. And it like, it was like this Eldon, the key image of the production of that film is Eldon Henson, the guy who plays Doomsday, standing in tiny cutoffs with his bulge, covered in body paint with horns glued to his body, smoking a cigarette in downtown LA, and these 2 hipster girls passing him and doing this. Like, this guy's insane, and I just was like, yes! This is the madness, this fuels me.
Actually, the fact that it had very low budget costume, that was one of the charms of the movie.
No, everything I do will look like shit, and the camera moves will always be like, nah.
Because you directed the movie as well, right?
Yeah.
How was that? How was the experience of directing this time around?
I'm gonna direct a movie. I decided I'm gonna direct my script, Me, Him, Her. Yeah, it was way more fun and kind of easier than I thought it would be, and I got it a lot more. I've been very scared to try to direct, but now I'm gonna try. So let's see how that turns out.
So like, I mean, your father has directed.
My father's directed a lot of movies.
A lot of cool stuff, and you've been more of a screenwriter. So do you think you're gonna direct more often? I mean, like maybe one. I have
no idea. Okay. I know my strength is that I know what I'm good at as a person, and as far as I know, or as far as I knew, I'm good at writing. But, you know, Superman's pretty good. Like, it's kind of well directed. Is Dubai about to end? What is that sound? Is that finally the big sandstorm?
Yeah, that is it.
Is it all over?
Mission Impossible wasn't wrong, yeah.
I'm ready!
I mean, is there anything that you're developing that you want to direct only and you don't want to give it to anybody else?
Yeah, one of my scripts, Me, Him, Her.
Yeah, okay.
But it's much smaller. It has a good sword fight in it. Yeah.
How do you think about, like, in screenwriters, as you said, they're not really that popular
How
outside.
long is this interview going to be? I'm having a good time, but like this is an in-depth interview.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. No, I mean, screenwriters usually, as you said, that they don't really have a face outside. They're just really behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so, how did it feel, the fact that everybody knows you as the guy who everybody knows who the writer of Chronicle is?
That feels fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Because usually it's a director who gets all the credit.
Oh no, that feels fantastic, and it was wholly intentional that I released it on the same day as Chronicle. I want people to know Chronicle's my baby, and I wasn't ready to, you know, it's Josh's baby too, and Josh made an incredible movie, but I wanted people to know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, not many screenwriters have a drive to be known, but I feel like we make up the movies. So maybe people should know us a little better than they do. And it feels great. The fact that like you're the 5th interview I've done is great and confusing and exciting. I don't know, man. It feels good.
And I mean, in the script, is there any character that you relate to, like something that you wrote out of yourself into the character? Or something like
From Chronicle?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was a very sort of weird outcast kid, but in a very different way from Andrew, because Andrew isn't a dick. I was sort of a dick kid. You know what the truth is? Chronicle, those 3 boys are like my sons. They're like my kids. I love Steve. When I killed Steve, it really upset me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I loved Andrew too, because I wanted him to be a superhero, because he is Peter Parker at the end of the day. And I loved Matt, and I just felt so bad for him because I understood how just sort of emotionally lazy he is and how he doesn't really know what he's doing. And that's why I'm putting him through hell in 2. But, you know, they're not me. They're not pieces of me. But they are pieces of who I'd like to be. Yeah. I'd like to believe that I could feel with the intensity that Andrew does, and I'd like to believe that I could embrace sort of the future in the way that Matt does, and I'd love to believe that I could be as charismatic and charming, wonderful, and intelligent as Steve. But I don't know if I am any of those things.
Yeah. And is there any advice you would like to give to screenwriters, like anybody who's trying to break in? Because you had a big success with your first movie. That's very rare in the thing.
Finish your scripts. Don't have fucking 5 fucking final draft documents that are 17 pages long. Finish. And you know what? If it sucks when you're done with it, either rewrite and change it or start a new script and finish that too. Finish 10 scripts. Don't fucking give up. It's so pathetic. I deal with so many people in LA who like, oh, I had an idea for a movie. Oh, really? Write it down. Don't sit me down at a table in some cafe and be like, oh, you wrote Chronicle. Let me tell you my idea. Don't tell me your idea. I can't help you. You know what you need to do? Write it down. Once it's a script, then it's a thing. Then someone can read it. Don't languish. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate. Let writing be your procrastination. Be excited about what you do. And for God's sakes, kill whoever controls that speaker. I challenge you. Whoever you are, somewhere out there, that speaker is the most offensive thing. I hope that's being picked up, because otherwise I'll seem completely demented. That's the most annoying thing I've ever heard. But just try hard, be excited about your stories, and that's the big one. Be excited about your stories. Oh, and then the thing I always say, which is my only piece of real advice, is know A to B to C to D to E to F to G. Know your alphabet. Know your story's entire alphabet. Know where it's going from the start. People always say, start a script, always know the ending. That's wrong. I really believe that's bad advice. Know the ending and the middle and the beginning. Yeah. Then go into it, and you'll surprise yourself with stuff you come up with along the way. Don't be an outline Nazi. Don't be, locked into your outline. But at the same time, if you know where something's going, it's going to be so much easier and more rewarding for both the reader and you, because the reader knows. Yeah. That's what, again, we go back to Stephen King. There's this moment in most Stephen King books, and usually it's about 9 pages in, where you realize shit's going to go down. Yeah, true. Stuff's going to happen. And then he just spools you out and pulls you through. And that's the thing, is catching a reader by the nose. Because I don't care if it's a great movie, if it's not a good script, if it's not a script that's easy to read, you're going to have a hell of a hard time turning it into a movie that's easy to watch. Yeah, very true. It doesn't need to be a smart script, it just needs to be fun.
Fun script, yeah, sure. One last thing, we have a challenge for you. Yeah. Yeah, we have a challenge, yeah. So we're going to give 2 minutes. Just tell us any story which has a beginning and an end. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you a story, but I will tell you a funny story from history that might be interesting to you. Which is in 535 AD, like way back in England, there was a guy named Sir Gulliver or something. And he wasn't a knight. He pretended to be a knight. And his big thing was that he was Gulliver Dragonslayer. It's a little-known character in history. And he would travel from town to town in England and talk endlessly to people about having slayed all these dragons. And of course they'd say, no, of course not. You know, that's absurd. No one actually believed in dragons. But you know what Gulliver had? Gulliver, some years prior, no one knows how he got it, had uncovered the skull of an Allosaurus. Okay. Oh. Embedded in rock. And he had most of the skull of an Allosaurus intact. And people saw that and they were like, you're a friggin' dragon slayer! People were incredibly impressed with him, and he'd come into town, he'd fuck whoever he wanted, he'd eat all the food, he'd tell made-up stories about killing these dragons. And then eventually, here's where things get interesting, eventually he came to this town called Devonshire. Now Devonshire is a place in England, but back then it was just a tiny town. And at the same time he was in this town, there was an Arab coming through the town. Now this was very, very early, because Arabs had almost never left the Middle East. Yeah. But he was a prince or a seeker, I don't know. That's so horrible. That is horrible, yeah. Go unplug it. Yeah. That's what I would do. Look at the security. That doesn't sound like music at all.
It's all on tape right now.
Yeah, here, well, I think he's doing. Are you filming right now?
Yep.
Stop filming for a second, and then edit this out.
Yeah. I can see the guy. Yeah, he's also panicking. Yep. Okay. He's up. Okay.
You ready?
Yep, I am good.
Okay, he was a Sikh. I don't know what part of the Middle East he was from, but he brought with him from India. He was traveling with a giant party with gold, and he was basically just wandering around England
not really knowing. I think they were lost, but he had with him 4 tigers that were his pets that he'd take with him everywhere. There were these massive tigers, and of course people in England had never, cats didn't even exist in England back then. So a tiger was like, Jesus Christ, they had no idea how to react. And one night, Gulliver came into town, the Sikh kicked him out of town because he thought the guy was full of crap and he thought it was fake. So Gulliver was on the outskirts of town, and the tigers got loose in the town. Oh. And they went out of the town, they were like, there are dragons in the town! So they brought him back in. Of course, Gulliver was like, I've never actually seen a dragon before. He was probably shitting his pants. And of course, that I can't guarantee that he was shitting his pants, but people were like, there are actual, and he was hearing roaring. And he went into town and he killed the tigers. They killed 3 people, but he got all 3 tigers. And so he had these tiger skulls then that he'd carry around with him till the day he died. So he actually became a dragon slayer.
He actually became a
Can I tell you something though?
Yeah.
I just made up that story.
Awesome. That's the twist right there at the end. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Tigers didn't come to England till like 1300.
I was debating a bit of accuracy there, but I was like, no, you're
just get into it. Yeah. That is loud.
That is loud.
Are we done?
Yeah, we'll end the interview there. Thank you so much for your time. I love the movie again.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
We all love the movie.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you very much.